Welcome back to What's He On About podcast. I'm your host, Charlie. It's episode 11, and it's great to have you back. Welcome to all the cricket lovers. If you don't love cricket, might be the wrong place to be, but come anyway. Come and have a listen. We're here for you. So, today's episode includes the two-tier test system. Is that the way forward in test cricket? I don't know. You probably don't know. Let's have a look why, pros and cons. Second thing coming up, England's game against Afghanistan in the Champions Trophy. The England lads might boycott it. Here's my thoughts. I'll tell you why. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't, because I am the area of cricket knowledge. Ashes question for 2025. Could England play four seamers plus Ben Stokes in this Ashes? And the final moment of the week. Now, this moment of the week actually happened in 2022, so that's 3 years ago. But nonetheless, I think it's a better final over than the 2019 World Cup. So that's all to come. Come and join me as you listen and ask yourself, what is he on about? The two-tier test system has been proposed. Now, before I say anything else, I am incredibly happy that the test cricket world is being cared about. It's being thought about. People are trying to push it forward globally. People are caring about test cricket. It's great. Something needs to change. The World Test Championship is a good move in the right direction, but it's not perfect, is it? So you've come here to What's He On About, and we're going to talk through the pros and cons of this system. Now, pros, let's start with Australia and India. Now, if the relegation promotion plan does exist, the number one, Division 1, is going to have England, India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. And Division 2, Bangladesh, West Indies, Zimbabwe, Ireland, and Afghanistan. As I said, pros first. Australia and India, they're just not going to get relegated, are they? Let's be honest. It's great for those two. They are just going to sit happily, massive home advantage, always going to win at home, and those guys are just going to roll through each year. It's going to get boring. It's going to be boring. It's going to be like prime Man City coasting their way to Premier League victories year after year. Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa. It's great for these guys. All of a sudden, they're being put alongside the big three. Huge increase in revenue, huge fixtures for these guys. And it's a great idea for them, isn't it? They're very happy sitting in this league, just sort of sitting happily and enjoying what fixtures might come their way. So it's great for those guys. Now, could be great for the fans, especially of those bigger nations, those Division 1 nations. These fans are going to be absolutely loving it. Constant Ashes, constant Border Gavaskar trophies, England, Australia, India, sorry, and some great series all over the world. You know, in these places like South Africa and New Zealand that don't often get big series, we're going to give it to them. Loads of great fixtures. The fans are going to love it, especially in these areas. So it's great for that stuff. Now, is it going to make teams care more as well? Sometimes, especially in England, you get that sort of carefree test cricket. Is that good? Is that bad? It's definitely going to make people care more because if it comes down to deciding test matches, we might see some gritty draws or some massive wins later on that might mean more. This is the whole point of moving the test cricket system forward. The players will care more, the fans will care more, increase in profits, increase in revenue. So they're the positives. Now, I've got a few more negatives, I'd say, than positives. Negative number one. Are we getting a massive home advantage? So let's say India, they're about to be relegated, but if they win the final test against England, they'll stay in the league. All right. India could just absolutely bake that wicket. They could do the Pakistan, get the patio heaters out and just absolutely bake it bone dry. Create the Bunsen burner of all wickets. And Is that going to make it a little bit boring, a little bit sort of negative in that way if we've just got humongous home advantages for these countries? That gives them the option. You might argue that's all part of Test cricket. You get a home advantage, but I just worry in those key deciding Test matches, could it be decided before the toss is even completed? So that's one negative. Next negative, West Indies and Bangladesh. Now, these are huge test nations, all right? Massive following of cricket in these countries. However, there's a definite trend towards the shorter format, all right? And the whole point of this system is to get global increase and global growth in test cricket. Now, if West Indies and Bangladesh, no disrespect to the other guys, but are playing Zimbabwe, Ireland, and Afghanistan every other week, then it's not going to improve their revenue. It's not going to make people watch Test cricket in these countries, and we're not going to see the growth. They're going to shift away to the white ball game, which exactly what we're trying to not do. So I feel quite bad for West Indies and Bangladesh. These are big nations, and I worry that in the attempt to save global Test cricket, we're going to kill it for these guys. Now, another negative from an England point of view is the likelihood is that England just will get relegated, won't we? It's the kind of thing, England get relegated, then 2026 we're playing against, we've got two test matches in the summer, one match at Lords, and we're playing against Ireland and Zimbabwe. Cheers, guys. Have a great summer. See you next year. And the likelihood is it will take England ages to get back out of that league as well. And I just worry, through an England point of view, that we'll get into Div 2 pretty quickly and we'll stay there. And it will, let's be honest, ruin the love of Test cricket in England if we keep having to play these guys. It's unlikely, yes, but I can just see the English boys getting relegated, especially with Stokes going all out for the wins and getting occasional losses. Could we get more negative draws? That's an interesting one. Yes. If England or any nation, well, definitely not England actually, but if there's a result on the line, if they need to draw to stay up, it could just get so boring, couldn't it? That's another negative there, you know? And I just worry that we could get a lot of negative cricket, a lot of batting out for a certain result, which people don't want to see. If the fans come and watch that, it's not going to improve the game, is it? And finally, are we going to lose the passion of India versus Australia, Australia versus England? If we're playing these series every single other week, is that just going to get horrendously boring? Are we going to lose the passion? I don't know. Personally, love an Ashes every year, but I just don't want it to lose that spark, lose that energy, that we get in waiting for the Ashes. So the upshot is ICC are going to go where the money is, and we can't stop that, but they're definitely on the right track to getting something done, improving the world of Test cricket. Now, England could boycott the Afghanistan ODI in the Champions Trophy. Now, it's been reported that MCCs, no, not the MCC, MPs have called out for the England players to boycott the game against Afghanistan. Now, I don't agree with Afghanistan as a nation. I'll leave it at that. But I don't think it's up to the players. I think the players should play if they're told to by the ICC and should not play if no one else is. I don't think it's up to the players to decide. I think it's up to the ICC. Either Afghanistan are in the tournament or they're not. It's up to those guys. And I think something more has to be done. Simple as that. And it's not up to the players. Nothing more to be said on that situation because everyone just is really excited for the Champions Trophy and we don't want to ruin that. Now, the Ashes question of the week. Could a four-man pace attack work? We're going to look in England this summer and in Australia come the winter. So, England spinners have struggled since Graham Swan, haven't they? We've struggled to find that stalwart spinner. Leach came in for a bit. Bashir's been in for a bit. We've had a lot of comings and goings in that spinner role. Now, let's have a look in England first. We know in England, spinners are very important. It's great to hold up an end. Sometimes day 5 wickets, they can turn. But Is the strength of our fast bowlers outweighing the need for that spinner, especially when you've got the likes of Joe Root and maybe Jacob Bethel to come and bowl spin. So Bashir needs good experience, and in England that will help him out. But I understand this guy's tall. I understand he's a decent bowler. But again, are the fast bowlers better than Bashir? I personally think so. But as we said, in England, spin is important to hold up an end, and it's going to be important to prepare for the Ashes come the winter because it's going to be highly likely we're going to need a strong spinner with experience to go out to the Ashes where it's going to be tricky. It's going to be hard. Now, come Australia, spinners have suffered in Australia. No doubt at all about that. And even Nathan Lyon's been suffering at the minute as well. He only bowled over six. He bowled over 6 overs in only 4 of the 10 innings in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So spinners aren't being used much. And if you look at England pacers, we've got Atkinson, Potts, Carse, Tongue, Wokes, Ollie Stone, Josh Hull. These guys are quality pacers, and Ben Stokes as well, if he's fit to bowl. You've got a lot of strong quality pacers, and if you look back at Australia versus India, Boland and Brimrah got all the wickets. Pat Cummins got all the wickets. Nathan Lyon got 9 in the series. Brimrah got 30 or 32. So it raises that question. In Australia, do you even need a spinner? And personally, if you back Joe Root, either way, a spinner's going to get smashed. And if you got Joe Root as your world number 1, number 2 test batter and he can bowl a bit of spin, perfect. Him and Jacob Bethel, you don't need to hold up an end exactly in Australia. Just send out the quicks. I think that'll do the job. So yeah, England could play 4 pace attack. I'd like to see it. But I guess it's only when, day 5 pitches come around that you actually need the spinner. But again, do England play on day 5 that often? There's a question for you to think about. Now, moment of the week, as I told you at the start of the episode, it's from 2022. So we're going to glaze over the fact that it's moment of the week and it happened 3 years ago. But is this the best final over ever? Now, in the European Cricket League, I believe it must be a game between Madrid and Milan or something. But I'm going to say Milan, they needed 7 to win off 6. All right, and here's the first few deliveries. Now, Madrid got a good little medium pacer on the Astro wicket. First ball, wicket. All right, fine. Walk off, 7 off 5 needed. Second ball, wicket. Oh gosh, here we go. 7 off 4 needed. Third ball, hat-trick ball, wicket. Hat-trick. They go crazy. But 7 off 3, it could still happen. Fourth ball, wicket. Oh my goodness, 4 wickets in 4 balls. 7 off 2 needed. Number 11 comes in. He bowls. Oh, just dabs it up to long off for a 1. 6 to win. Now the batter who's in at the other end comes down the crease and smashes in for 6. So it's gone from 7 off 6 to 7 off 2 to 6 off 1 with 1 wicket left. And this bloke hits a massive 6. Is that a better over than the final over of the 2019 World Cup between England and New Zealand? I think so. Can you imagine being there? Well, there was no one else there, unfortunately. But nonetheless, that is my moment of the week. And I hope the question got answered this time. And before I tell you what the question was, what you're going to do is you're going to follow the podcast. You're going to go on the TikTok. You're going to like the TikTok. You're going to follow the TikTok, please. Yeah, so follow the podcast, leave a review. Try and be kind. If you don't like it, yeah, leave a review. Reviews help. So thanks for listening, everyone. As I said, I hope the question got answered of what is he on about. Cheers.